84-year-old Samuel Dutch Morrison showed up at Fort Hood's motor pool each dawn with his battered leather tool bag, and no one questioned why a decorated World War II and Korean War veteran wanted to spend his retirement maintaining vehicles under the Texas sun, silver-haired and wiry. Dutch moved among the hulking machines with a quiet precision that spoke of parade grounds and battlefields long past. To the mechanics, he was just another Veterans Association volunteer, helpful, invisible, content to scrub mud and check oil, but Dutch saw everything. For 2 years, he'd noted armor plates stressed in odd places, components missing from manifests, and modifications that didn't match specs. His instincts whispered of sabotage. When Corporal Williams asked him to look over another batch of Humvees, Dutch nodded, eyes already tracing a pattern of deliberate weakness. The younger soldiers joked nearby, unaware that the old man's steady hands once designed armor that saved lives. His routine looked ordinary. Wipe, tighten, inspect. In truth, he was conducting field intelligence, mapping vulnerabilities that could kill soldiers if left unchecked. One Tuesday, Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Hayes arrived for a routine inspection. Years in vehicle operations had trained her eye. When she spotted the elderly volunteer sliding beneath a transport, she froze. Those movements testing armor seams, measuring blast angles, weren't civilian habits. They were the gestures of a professional assessor. Dutch emerged, brushing dust from his shirt, unaware she was watching. He moved to the next carrier, examining scorched panels with the practiced touch of a designer. Hayes stepped closer. "Excuse me?" she said. Dutch straightened instinctively. "Yes, ma'am." "Where did you learn that inspection method?" He hesitated. "Standard maintenance, Colonel." She shook her head. "That's advanced armor assessment. I've only seen it twice, once in training at Aberdeen Proving Ground, and once by Master Sergeant Samuel Morrison before Normandy." Recognition settled between them. "You're Dutch Morrison," she whispered, "designer of the Morrison modification. 3 Purple Hearts, 2 Bronze Stars, Medal of Honor for Heartbreak Ridge."
Atch.
Shoulders straightened. The quiet volunteer was suddenly the legendary soldier he'd once been. "Colonel," said evenly, "these vehicles have been compromised." Colonel Hayes frowned. "Compromised how?" Dutch pointed toward the convoy. "Armor specs are being altered. Someone's introducing structural weaknesses that match enemy blast placement patterns. I've tracked it for 2 years." Realization hit her. This old man had been running a solo intelligence operation under the guise of maintenance. He'd risked obscurity and ridicule to protect soldiers who didn't even know his name. "Mr. Morrison," she said with quiet respect, "I think it's time you brief command." "Ma'am, I've been waiting for someone with clearance." They walked toward headquarters. Hayes understood what she was seeing. A guardian who had never stopped serving, only changed his battlefield. That evening, Fort Hood's logs recorded an unusual update. Under Dutch's advisement, vehicle security assessments were overhauled, armor checks tightened, and inspection standards rewritten with the precision of a man who had spent his life turning steel into shields. When he returned home to his small apartment, Dutch finally allowed himself a deep breath. His findings would save lives now, acted upon by people who understood their urgency. For him, that was enough. He didn't need medals or ceremonies. His satisfaction came from knowing young soldiers would return home safely because of what he'd seen and refused to ignore. The next morning, his spot in the motor pool was empty, his name quietly removed from the volunteer roster. The younger mechanics missed the gentle old man with the steady hands and endless patience. Unaware that their maintenance buddy had rewritten security protocols across the base, but somewhere deep in the Fort Hood command files, a new directive bore his signature, Samuel Dutch, Rusin authorizing advanced inspection techniques and counter-sabotage, verification for all returning vehicles, some battles Dutch knew were not fought with rifles or tanks, but with persistence, memory, and watchfulness. Freedom, after all, demanded constant guardianship, and though the world had long believed his war was over, Dutch Morrison's mission endured quietly, fiercely, invisibly ensuring every vehicle that left Fort Hood carried its soldiers, not toward danger, but safely home.